This video will show you how to complete a deal sheet form on Zoho. Deal sheet forms are very important because it's how you get paid. So you have to complete a deal sheet form for every single deal that you do, whether it is a rental, a sale, a commercial deal, or whether it's a real New York exclusive or an open deal that's not having to do with the real New York exclusives. So you are completing a deal sheet for every single deal. In order to access the deal sheet form, along the top, you'll go to Agent Reports and go to Deal Sheet. And this is what will pop up in front of you. It's a bunch of blanks that you need to complete in order to submit your deal sheet form. So let's go through these together. Your deal date, the date you're putting in this deal, will be needed here, which is today, the 6th. Your deal type, like mentioned before, can be either a rental, sales, or commercial deal. So pick which is appropriate. For the building, if it's a real New York exclusive that's gone through the Zoho system, it will be automatically approved and will show up on here once a deal sheet form is ready to be completed. But if it's an open deal, you'll have to add in that building yourself. So you go to Add New. As you can see, it's already auto-populated for open, and you want to add your name in here. You are the agent that's assigned to this listing. If you're working with another agent, we'll use Aaron as an example, you'll click their name too. So both of you will show up on this listing. We'll put in an address, what the unit number is, how many numbers of beds, and how many numbers of baths. After you've done that, click Submit, and it will add your building to the sheet. Next, you'll be inputting how much the rental amount is per month or the full sales amount. Since we're working with a rental deal, we'll say it's $3,000 per month. As you can see, because we added myself and Aaron as the agents to the open deal, we're auto-populated here as well as our emails here. You want to add what the date is that you signed your lease. We'll say we signed it yesterday. We'll put in checks today, and we're filling out the deal sheet today. Your lease start date. If your lease starts on the 1st, you want to add that in there. We'll say September 1st is our lease start date. And you want to make sure you remember how many months is your lease. A typical lease is 12 months. Sometimes you'll see 13, 14, maybe even 18. So you want to populate your lease end date appropriately. If this is a 12-month lease, you can either scroll to the 12 months ahead, or you can simply go to the year, the year after and change the number from 20 to 21. Remember, if your deal is starting on the 1st is not 1 year away. This counts as the first day in there. So 1 year later is going to be the 31st. Keep that in mind. If you've worked with another co-broke firm, we'll pretend we work with Compass, you want to auto-populate that here. It's not required, but if you did work with somebody else, we want to keep track of that. So make sure you input that information correctly. You want to add your clients' names, their emails, as well as their cell phone numbers. Please be as accurate as you can with this, because we'd like to keep all of these records so we know whose client is whose. Lead source will be where the lead came from. These are our primary lead sources: StreetEasy, RentHop, and the Real New York website. But what if they came from somewhere else? You can always pick Other and add in where they came from. We'll say this came from Zillow. The fee amount. This is where you're going to calculate how much money you've collected from your client. So for instance, if our pricing is $3,000 and we collected a 1-month fee, you would put in $3,000. If we've collected, for instance, a 15% fee, we will do 3,000 times 12, the annual rent, times 0.15 for 15%. And we'll put in $5,400. Okay, see here it's asking for the money amount. Payment type. Typically you'll see things come in as checks. Okay, this is going to be our most common, especially for commission, because we cannot accept commission on real pay nor via cash. So check is going to be our most common. Deduction off the top is applicable when there is some kind of additional concession added to the listing, which you'll know about before putting in your deal sheet. If this is the case, you want to add that in here. Paid by is very important. There's only two ways that a fee can be paid. It's either by the client or by the owner. If the client is handing you your check that you've collected from them, you'll just simply click client. And there's nothing else further to do here. If you are collecting an OP, an owner payment, you will click owner. And you will be given 4 more boxes to complete. So say, for instance, we did a deal with BLDG Management. You want to name BLDG Management in this box and who the invoice is going to. This is extremely important because if you give us the wrong information here, we cannot properly send an invoice to collect your money. So make sure whoever we're sending this OP invoice to is correct. So you can add in the address for BLDG. And then the area code. And the OP amount. Typically, OPs are for 1 month, but they can happen to be for more. But whatever the OP amount is, you want to make sure you input this here. We're pretending there's a 15% OP, so you put in $5,400. If there's a gift card or referral on this deal, you click yes. If not, no. And then you want to add in your split for the house. This depends on your particular split decision with Real New York. So make sure you check your IC agreement and see what you're putting in for which deal. Remember, there is an exclusive, Real New York exclusive split, an exclusive split if you brought in the exclusive, as well as an open split deal. So make sure you're inputting the correct amount that you should be collecting. We'll pretend this is an open deal with BLDG, and we are having our open split at 45. So 55 to us, 45 to Real New York. So my split with the house would be 55. Further down on the fee splits, this also will include if you've worked with anybody else. If Aaron did this deal by himself, you would add in 100%. Aaron's going to collect 100% of this money. But if you've worked a deal with another person, you're going to add them in also. So if you click add new, you'll add yourself in there. If you've added the correct people involved in the deal in the earlier bubbles, it will auto-populate here. So let's pretend Adam and I are splitting this 60-40. It will tell you to make sure that it adds up to 100. So make sure you go in here and add 40. And we're all set. A little further down, we have the items that you're required to upload. Notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items you should upload. 3 of them are starred. You are required to always upload your fee agreement, your anti-discrimination form, as well as your New York State disclosure form. These are required by law. Okay. Okay. The first page of the lease, signature page of the lease, and copy of commission check are not required, but they're very highly encouraged. So we can make sure that we can keep track of your deals and keep track of your clients. So simply you just click here and you upload your file.